Hi, everybody. I am back in the Philippines finally, uh, not without issues on the flight going and coming. So I thought I'd give a little vlog on the trip there and back. Now, I always fly United Airlines to the United States because they have a nonstop from Manila to San Francisco, and then from San Francisco, I can get a flight into, like this time I flew into Nashville and I flew out of Detroit coming back to San Francisco and caught United back to the Philippines. And Cebu Pacific, I usually do from Dipolog to Manila and Manila to Dipolog back. Or I have a little clip of what happened going to Nashville, and I'll play that for you real quick that I filmed that day. So the trip back to the United States has been a long one so far. The flight leaving Manila was an hour delayed. So got here to San Francisco, and my flight from San Francisco to Nashville is delayed. First it was delayed like 2 hours, and then it got delayed again for another 2 hours. So it looks like we're supposed to be in Nashville by 3:30. It looks like around 7 o'clock now, if it doesn't get delayed again. I'm sitting here at the gate just waiting all day, so I'll update when something else happens. So that was the trip going. Now coming back was far worse than I ever expected. I flew out of Detroit and everything there seemed fine. The flight from Detroit left at about 7:43 Detroit time, was supposed to land in San Francisco at 9:50 p.m. San Francisco time, which that flight went good. They actually were a little bit early. Now we were supposed to leave San Francisco at 12:55 a.m. and arrive at 5:55 a.m. Manila time, which gave me plenty of time for my connection to Dipolog. I had like 6 hours, something like that, 6.5 hours between the flights, so it's plenty of time. Well, they back us away from the gate, and we're sitting there. We're just for 15 minutes, more or less, I would guess. It seemed like longer, but I'm thinking about 15 minutes. Then all of a sudden, the captain gets on the intercom and says, "We're going to have to pull back into the gate and take a bag off. There's a bag we can't fly with because maybe the passenger didn't get on the flight or something like that." But anyway, we pull back into the gate. We're not there very long, maybe 5 minutes, maybe 10. But then we pull back away from the gate again. Then we taxi out to the runway. Then all of a sudden the captain says, "We're going to have to go back into the gate because there's a radio that's not working for navigation." So we go back into the gate and they say, "Oh, it's going to be, a little while and they'll have it fixed." So maybe an hour or two later, they come back and say, "We're going to have to get another aircraft. It's going to be a few more hours." So total was about 7 hours late on that flight. We were 7 hours delayed. Now my flight to Dipolog from Manila was supposed to be at 12:55 in the afternoon and arrive in Dipolog at 2:40 p.m. We didn't get there until 1, little after 1, so I missed that flight. Now, when they told us we were going to be 7 hours late, of course, I knew I was going to miss that flight. So what I did was contacted Cebu Pacific and had a rebooking on the flight. Now I couldn't get Wi-Fi in the airport, not worth crap, so I contacted Ann's son and he did it for me. And they told him, oh, it's going to cost about 2,000 pesos for the rebooking, which, okay, no problem with that. What happened though was it was way more than 2,000 pesos, what they charged. So the flight I had to catch, well, I'll start with this, was there. I went to United Airlines and said, hey, it's your fault I'm going to miss this flight. Is there anything you can do for me, or give me a hotel room or something, because I'm going to have to be here all night in Manila. And they said, well, sit down here and we'll do something for you, So they came back and they said, we'll give you a voucher for a hotel for the night. I said, cool. Well, then they were gone a little while, and then Fine came back and said, well, we didn't book that flight for you, so you're on your own. We'll call a hotel, make a reservation, but that's all we're going to do. So ended up going to the hotel desk in the airport there in Manila, because they have a desk where you can get hotels there. And they said, we have you a hotel here. It's going to cost you about 3,000 pesos. It'll have included is a shuttle. They'll take you to the hotel, and then when you're ready to come back to the airport in the morning, the shuttle will bring you back, no charge. So that's what I ended up doing. So the flight from Manila to Dipolog was at 6:40 in the morning. So I got up at 3:30 in the morning, got ready, stepped outside, and there the shuttle driver was. He loaded my bags, took me to the airport, no problem there. Caught the flight into Dipolog, and we spent the night in the hotel there. Then we had a 3.5-hour drive from Dipolog home that next day. And when I got home, I looked at the statement in the email from Cebu Pacific, and it was way more than a couple of thousand pesos. I can show you the statement here, or what I got. It ended up total for this to get from Manila to Dipolog 10,560 pesos, because they charged me 5,220 for the missed flight. Then they charged me 5,300 for the rebooked flight. So they just basically just kept the same booking number and charged me again for the same ticket. It's just like buying a new ticket. So they kind of lied to me. I'm kind of upset with Cebu Pacific for doing that, because they told us on the phone just a couple of thousand pesos, and it turned out to be the price of a whole new ticket. And I paid extra in case some of that happened, and I did pay extra for an extra bag, which that's, no problem there. But beware, if you have a ticket you need to rebook with Cebu Pacific, if they tell you it's going to be a couple of thousand pesos, you better check again, because it will be the price of another ticket, even though the booking confirmation or number never changes. So that was my trip to and from the United States this time. First time I've had anything like that happen. So hopefully it never happens to you, and hopefully it never happens to me again, because that was the worst trip I've ever had in my life. I've worked for an airline, and we flew standby, and I've never had standby do me that way when I worked there. So anyway, thanks for watching. Have a good one. Bye, y'all.